The pick is in.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made a selection in the 2024 NFL Draft. Alongside Locked On College Football host Spencer McLaughlin, I'm Tanisha Batiste, and we are joined by James Yarko of Locked On Bucs to break down the Bucs selecting Chris Braswell with the number 57 pick, Tykee Smith at number 89, and Jalen McMillan at 92. So, James, what do you think Braswell brings to this Bucs pass rush?
He brings a super athletic but somewhat raw edge rusher, and edge rush was one of the biggest needs for this Buccaneers team. Only 4.5 sacks out of Shaq Barrett last year. You had 5 out of Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. The leader was rookie Yaya Diaby, who played less than 50% of defensive snaps on the year. So this is a guy out of Alabama, extremely fast first step, but was kind of lost behind Will Anderson and some of the other pass rushers there in Alabama. So he really only had 1 year to shine. Ended up with 8 sacks, 33 hurries, an interception, a touchdown. He's really going to be able to help out this rotation and probably become a full-time starter by the end of the year.
So, James, how do you think Tykee Smith can potentially improve this Bucs secondary?
I think what they did was they brought in Tykee Smith as kind of your slot corner, right? He's a very versatile safety at Georgia, but now he fits in that slot corner. He can play zone. He can play press man. He likes to get after the quarterback, which is something that Todd Bowles loves to do with his secondary. You know, Christian Izien was getting after the quarterback. We know Antoine Winfield Jr. was all over the field all season long. So now this is a guy that comes in. You brought in Tavier Thomas out of Houston, Bryce Hall out of New York, but now this gives the Bucs more versatility on the defensive side of the ball in terms of what their secondary can do, because Todd Bowles loves to move those guys around and throw out a lot of deception. So you don't know who's covering, who's coming after the quarterback, who's doing what. So this is a really athletic, really intelligent corner that the Bucs can now mix in and disguise what they want to do.
For more on the Bucs, subscribe to Locked On Bucs on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, Spencer, the Bucs also had a pick at 92. What do you think about the wide receiver out of Washington, Jalen McMillan?
I think Jalen McMillan at 92 is a heck of a pick by this Buccaneers offense. And if you're trying to find weapons for Baker Mayfield, Jalen McMillan can be one of those guys. He was part of the best receiving trio that we've seen since 2019 LSU, the best passing game we've seen since that Tigers team the last couple of years with Michael Penix at the helm. And Jalen McMillan, he does have some injury concerns. He missed a few games over the course of the last couple of years, particularly in 2023. When he went out, their offense wasn't the same. And that's the sort of impact that he had. A guy who can take the top off of defense, make some contested catches, is really good in the screen game as well. I think he's someone who, does a little bit of everything. And he doesn't have one thing that he does at an exceptionally high all-pro level, but he does everything with such a high floor and such a consistent level of production that he's a guy who I see succeeding in the NFL.
For continuing coverage of the 2024 NFL Draft, subscribe to Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.